All right. What is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here coming in for another list build. Today, I'm going to go over Maul in the Shadow Collective and seeing what kind of list I can get out and just kind of explain why I'm going to do this kind of list and explain just the different things that I can and pretty much go over Maul instead of Gar Saxon. So we are doing Maul, obviously. So let's go ahead and start with Maul. So if we go ahead and take a look at him, he's got jump 1, allies of convenience already, so we don't need the upgrade card. So basically, your army may include one additional mercenary unit of any rank, and you can issue orders to friendly mercenary units regardless of affiliation. So you can issue orders to Pikes and Black Sun and anyone, basically, rogues as well. And but you're not going to be able to use your courage for them because it's just issuing orders and you can include an additional mercenary unit. So it doesn't say anything about like they can use your courage bubble. You're going to need another commander for that. And that's why they have so many command slots for that, just in case that was something some people were confused about. And if you haven't already, you can check out the link that I have, or one of the last videos that I've done, it kind of explaining Gar Saxon and the Shadow Collective and the new updates. He's going to go ahead and have Deflect and Immune to Pierce, so nothing can be used against him except Dooku. Dooku's really the only one who can do anything with that. And then Juyo Mastery, so when he has a wound, he'll be able to have 3 actions, basically. Still only two move actions can be done, though. And then Wound 1, so the first time that you enter play, you're going to go ahead and suffer a wound, triggering Tenacity, which I'm going to have, and his Juyo Mastery. So just in case, yes, you don't really know, the Juyo Mastery, while you are wounded, you can perform 1 additional action during your activation. That's basically it. That's all. He's going to have 6, but technically 5. So he's starting out with 5, pretty much the same as Gar Saxon. Red defense dice, no surging to defense, and he's got no surging to offense. He's going to have the place for the dark saber and then 2 force slots that he doesn't have master of the force of, so he's not going to be able to recover, but one of his command cards does allow him to recover, and then he can keep vigilance on him if he wants to. So, and then if you don't want to have the dark saber on him, he's going to go ahead and just have the 4 red and 4 white. So the good thing about giving him the dark saber is that he's going to go ahead and gain surge to crit automatically. So you're not going to need, if we go to his command cards, you're not going to need his 3 pip. That's a 1 pip, because the only thing that it's really good for is he's going to gain an aim. And that would be the only reason you would play this card for him now. And there's other ways that he can do what he needs, and you can just give him a dodge. So he's not going to need Jedi Hunter because he's already going to surge to crit no matter what, not even attacking just a Jedi, anybody. And then when he activate, he may suffer a wound. So he's already going to be wounded 1. So we're not going to need this card at all. So the one that does allow him to recover, though, is this one. So it's technically a 3 pip, but it's going to be counting as a 1 pip. And so you can remove up to 2 wound tokens and any number of poison or immobilized tokens from Maul. So maybe say that Boba Fett comes up to Maul, or Sabine comes up to Maul, and she uses her whipcord, gives him the immobilized tokens, or maybe CIS has left, Dioxis mines, and he gets poisoned. You can get rid of all your poison or your immobilized tokens, one or the other, and remove up to 2 wounds, and then you get to recover. So you will be able to recover the force slots if you take in something that was able to do that. So we're going to go ahead and go to his 4 slots, and he doesn't have a ranged attack. So I'm going to go ahead and give him Saber Throw. And then so that only leaves 1 force slot left. So force push, like I said, is honestly one of the best ones for pretty much every Jedi or every Sith. Now you can go with Jedi, you can go with force reflexes. That way he gains that dodge so that turn that you're going to use this witch magic, it's not going to give him any kind of dodge or aim tokens, but all of his other ones do. So right now, Duel of the Fates, which I would take, he's going to gain a dodge and disengage, and then no other unit can spend any kind of green tokens. His 2 pip, It's, let's see. So Maul gains a dodge. So he's gaining a dodge again. You don't need force reflexes at the moment. And then each trooper unit at range 1 of Maul gains a suppression token. No matter what. So I would keep your guys close because I'm going to go with the pikes on these. And so with the suppression, they have danger sense too. So they're going to be able to roll a defense dice for the extra suppression tokens that they have. And then they're already going to have a dodge from probably not getting an order, and they're going to have a maneuver so they can spend that dodge to cancel crits. And then if anything else comes through, they can, if they're not already behind cover and they were given an order somehow, or so if they're already behind cover and they weren't given an order, they've already got heavy cover and a dodge, and then they're already going to be able to cancel crits with that dodge, and then have an extra, you know, way to roll extra defense dice, especially if they're in range 1 of Maul. But he's already going to gain a dodge, and then after that, your trooper units that are at range 1 of Maul, when they activate, they're gonna skip their rally, and they can't be panicked or suppressed. So those pikes, basically, that I'll add, they're not gonna be able to be panicked or suppressed. They're gonna be able to keep that suppression that they get from Maul to use for danger sense and not have to worry about their courage or anything like that. So because of the pikes, we're going to want someone who can kind of help them out in need and use the courage value, and then be able to kind of give out an aim, a dodge, or a surge when you would gain one. Okay, so instead of taking an aim, or instead of taking a dodge, or if you were somehow going to get an aim, or sorry, a surge, you can just give it to somebody else and in line of sight at range 1 and just take a suppression. So we're going to need them just to make sure that he watches over those pike soldiers. Now back to Maul. I'm going to go with force push because, like I said, you don't need force reflexes. And then I don't know if I finished the other one. Yeah. And if we looked at, so like we said, we're already looking at this one is giving him a dodge. And if we look at the seize what power we can, you're going to nominate him. You're going to place an aim and 3 surge tokens on this card. And each time an enemy unit at range 1 of Maul spins an aim, dodge, or surge, place that token on this card. And then friendly mercenary units can spend tokens on this card as if it were there. So another way for Maul to use tokens. So I would go with force push or force choke or burst of speed. Honestly, to be honest, you don't want to give out orders to anybody for the most part because they all have independent. So battle meditation isn't needed whatsoever. Anger, when you're sure, yeah, that would work if you wanted to get that free aim. You don't need force guidance. Don't use force barrier. I wouldn't do fear. You're already going to have a command card that hands out suppression at range 1, so there's no need for that. So honestly, burst of speed, force choke, and force push just make the only sense. And force push you can't do with any other kind of unit except for the forced user. So I'm going with force push. That just justifies what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say what I can. Vigilance, I want to keep as many tokens on him as I can. And then tenacity, if I'm already rolling with the dark saber, let's see, hold on, let's put the dark saber on there. 2, 4, 6 black, and then if I put tenacity, that's 7 dice. I'm rolling, surging to crit. Now, granted, if any of you have ever played Operative Luke, you know that rolling 7 black dice, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to get paint. And then if you're not surging, you're not going to get anything. But he's already surging to crit, so there's good chances that you might get paint on there. But, I mean, if we were to just look, let's see. So 6, what was that? Right there. One more. And then 1. It looks like a lot of dice, but blank, blank. 2 blanks again. If you didn't surge, all those would be blanks. So he's really lucky. Yeah, I mean, you're getting really lucky. The fact that you do surge, there's 3 blanks already. 2 blanks again. 1 blank. So you're going to be pretty much averaging 2. It looks like, yeah. 2 blanks, because there's 3 blanks again for a third time. 3 blanks again for a third time. 3 blanks again for a third time. So 2 blanks this time. If we were to go, 0 and we had our 4 and 4, you don't surge at all unless you had Jedi Hunter, because without the dark saber, you're not surging, so you're getting only 2 hits. Period. Yeah, so you're better off with the dark saber and tenacity than you are with his regular saber not rolling for any surges. So honestly, yeah, give him the dark saber. It's worth the 10 points, especially since he's also going to gain cunning, impact 2, pierce 2, and then with saber throw, you're halving it, but 3, still rolling 3 versus 4, so he's not as great in ranged as he would be in melee. So that could be another thing. So instead of taking saber throw, since you know that he's not going to be good with that, and for the sake of that, why not? Let's go ahead and take off saber throw, because with three dice, maybe surging, you're still getting 2 blanks for the majority of the time, and with 2 blanks averaging and you're only rolling 3. There's still a high chance of it. So you could do force reflexes. I'm probably going to take force choke, because or burst of speed. No, because I'm going to be taking the AA5 and I'll explain why. So I think force choke. Let's go with that one. And then tenacity, definitely a must. Boom. So at the moment, I'm going to go with the AA5, and let me explain what I'm going to do with it and why. So I'm only going to give the upgrades here because it's going to get attacked, and it's good for cover. It's just a mobile walking cover, and it's going to carry Maul. Maul is going to have his own transport, his own sleigh, his carriage, everything that he needs. He's got to have his little thing, little diva guy. Not as bad as Vader, but yeah. So we're gonna have the AA5, and we don't have a medic for the Shadow Collective at all. So until we have a medic, I think the AA5 is going to need to take the back world medic. Also, because if you're gonna roll 2 white defense dice and you're gonna gain a suppression for each possible hit, you could get a possible 2. It's rare, but your possible 2 suppression. But you might be able to get 1 suppression on there. And then if you're healing the Mauldalorians or maybe a Pike Syndicate, they can use that suppression. And especially if they're doing this whenever you're trying to heal them whenever they can't be suppressed or panicked. So you might not even have to worry. You can just heal them and probably not have to worry about taking any of the suppression. I don't know how legal it is or if that is, but it's worth a shot. So backworld medic for sure. And then I want it to be a medic that can last as long as possible. So instead of just doing capacity 2, treat 2, capacity 2, this could have the, treat 1, capacity 6. So instead of, 2 wounds healing throughout the entire game, you could at least do 3, possibly 4 or 5. And if it lasts the whole game, maybe 6. But that it's possible. So I'm not going to do this at all, because like I said, I'm going to probably move to make sure that I'm in cover all the time, making sure that they have the gonk droid and then the backworld medic. Now, I don't know how long this speeder truck is going to last, but at least that refurbished gonk droid is going to do what it can to transport Maul for as far as he can. And then Maul is going to get dropped off and then move. So honestly, instead of force choke, if you also wanted to save points and made sure that with the wound 1, he's already going to get 3 actions, so he can do two moves. He'd be able to take 1 action to disembark, 1 action at speed 3, and then 1 action to slice and dice. So that actually wouldn't be that bad of an idea to put burst of speed onto Maul, specifically just for that AA5 speeder truck, having the refurbished gonk droid trying to get in as much as possible, and using that backworld medic to heal people at range 1 and in line of sight. So you got to remember that. So we have our minimum core trooper, because you only need 2 in the Shadow Collective. We have 2 commanders. We don't really need any more. Now, if you wanted to, with the Pikes, I would definitely go lead by example to make sure that they can inspire some suppression off of these guys. Huge thing for that. And then I want some super commandos. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do 3 for now. So the Mandalorians, because we have Maul, Rookcast has retinue with Maul. So at the start of the activation phase, if you're at range 1 to 2 with Maul, you gain an aim or a dodge. And if Maul is in the AA5, if you're taking cover behind the AA5, pretty much giving yourself heavy cover, getting retinue every time, getting yourself an aim or a dodge, and then not having to get an order or getting an order and giving yourself an aim or a dodge, depending on what you want to do. You're going to be able to just stack the tokens on Rook's unit. And then definitely I'm giving her up close and personal because I do want her to last still a little bit longer. And she's got 2 health and she's rolling 2 red, 2 white. Again, like I explained in the last one, it's just really good. I mean, regardless, she's 5 points more than the gunslinger. But for 5 points, you're upgrading your black dice to red dice and you're gaining a hit point. So you're going to last a little bit longer for 5 extra points. So that is definitely worth it, in my opinion. And I'm always going to take the Super Commando combat shields. Now for these, I'm going to put the gunslinger on to get him nice and close. Now, if you wanted, again, the Super Commando is just the same amount. So in case you needed to swap them out beforehand, you could. You're losing a dice. You're just gaining 1 red and gaining a range, a little bit more range. And then you're getting precise instead of lethal. So if maybe you needed someone to hang out in the back, you could. That's just up to you. I'm going to go with the gunslinger. And then for them, again, I'm going to go ahead and put the Super Commando, super thing on. Now, you've only got 751. You don't have enough for a naked Super Commando. Again, we've already got 1. Okay, because these, I want Rook to last as long as we can. And then up close and personal, and then the combat shields is perfect. This isn't going to be an anti-armor at all. So what you're really going to have to try and do is just get the objective done and try to outlast and maneuver your way around the best possible using, Maul to your best advantage or just placing Maul in the middle of things into the thicket. Now, with those extra points, we only have 8 activations. If we gave ourselves an extra Pike Syndicate, we'd have 9 activations. You're at 791, so you have 9 points that you can do with whatever you want. So maybe on one of these guys, especially you could do with Rook if you wanted, because of the possible retinue. She's already getting free aim. So if you wanted the jetpack rockets, you could do the jetpack rockets on her. You could do them on the naked, or you could, I wouldn't do them on the naked because you want that extra dice. So I would either put the rockets on one of these guys or with 9 extra points. Honestly, you're not going to be able to get any of these, and there's no point in having this guy without a gun on there. You could, on the Pike Syndicate, you could give out portable scanner, and then you'll have 3 points left that you could do with whatever you wanted, but there's really no point, and there's 3 points not going anywhere. You could give, you can give the Mandos the emergency transponder and give the other Mandos that have the Super Commando Gunslinger as well the emergency transponder, just in case. So you have 9 activations. You have Maul. You've got 3 Mandalorian units, 1 naked, 2 that are pretty kitted out, in my opinion. Like, you got to keep these guys alive because of how kitted out they are. Now, if you needed to, again, you could take out, let's see, 14, no, let's see, 9, 13 points. That's not 13 points right now that you'd be able to take out that you could put somewhere else. But you could put a heavy on the Pike Syndicate soldiers. And like the 10, you could basically, if you wanted to, just put the Electro Whip soldier, which is only 10 points for a heavy. So if you desperately needed more soldiers, so check this out. You might as well put on a 10-point heavy that has a melee or range 1 with 2 extra dice than a 9-point extra guy that's going to give you an aim. So these guys are just super cheap. And I love the Pike Syndicates with the Mandos because you can do more with Mandos and or put more upgrades on Mandos than if you have with the Black Sun. And the Black Sun are super, super close range. So I know I say super, super close range. It's only range 1 to 2. But the Pikes, at least with naked, don't needing anything, have at least a range 1 to 3. They're not surging. Again, you're going to just use these guys to get objectives done and maybe trying to use the AA5 and the Mauldalorians to get in and do something to your enemy. It's just up to you on what you kind of want to do, but at least they're going to last a long time if you can keep them behind the AA5, possibly continue healing them with the Backworld Medic. And all right, so I'll go over these command cards. I'm definitely going to do Duel of the Fates. So Maul's going to gain a dodge. That's important if you wanted to. And because if just in case, maybe you with the AA5, you wanted to transport one of the super commandos because you really wanted to keep as many of them alive as possible until you needed it. And maybe dump them out near an objective and then cause some havoc in the back because they're going to be able to, the speeder truck can move. It can move if it needed to. And then you could use those super commandos to basically get into the very back because they've got speed 3 and jump 2. So they're going to be able to move and be very, very maneuverable on their own, especially with independent gaining an aim. So if you don't give them at the start of the activation phase, if you do not have an order token, gain an aim. So if you, with the AA5, they're already inside there. When the start of that turn starts, they're not going to have an order probably if they're in the AA5. So maybe they go ahead and get an aim. You draw the truck, hopefully first. And then, or I mean, maybe you hopefully don't have any tokens here. So hopefully you'll draw the bus before drawing the other 2 Mandos so that you can possibly move again, and then drop off the Mandos at a speed 1, and then take a speed 3 at maybe jump 2 if there's a possibility. And then, or you could just disembark at your speed 1. You already have an aim, and then you can shoot at range 3 or at range 2. So yeah, that's just kind of up to you of what you want to do. Now, I would just put Maul in here for a little bit for the mere fact that he's going to only have 5 wounds. He's super expensive. He's 202 points, starting out with 5 wounds. These guys are only 129. You don't even have to have the transponder on there. Like if you wanted to do less with them and give more to the Pike syndicates, you could. It's just kind of up to you. If you wanted your Pikes to last a little bit longer because your Mauldalorians are going to be able to handle it. So if you wanted to take that off and you wanted to take the emergency transponder off, you're not going to be able to get the 10 points. But on at least one of these guys, you could do prepared supplies. Or like I said, with this, you could go ahead and do portable scanner and then take off that. You've got 3 points left. Do you have a bid? And that's not bad. You're giving an extra dodge possibly to a Pike. So instead of taking a dodge, you're going to aid one of them. And then maybe with the other one, you give your second guys a dodge. And then they already have outmaneuver and independent dodge. So if they don't get an order, they're going to get a dodge. So say that you don't give anyone dodges, or sorry, any of the Pikes in order. All 3 are going to gain a dodge. Hopefully, if you gain a Pike Syndicate capo first, you can give out 2 other dodge tokens to different units. So maybe 2 units will, before they activate, possibly have 2 dodges on them. And then you can move and then shoot and don't have to worry about taking a dodge or anything like that. So there's lots and lots of ways to go ahead and get these tokens on people without having to give them orders. So you're not so worried. It's kind of like the opposite of CIS, in my opinion, where CIS is order token hungry for all of them because of AI. These are starving and want to completely die of hunger from order tokens. Okay, that you don't want to give them some. So that also kind of depends on how you want to play this list. It's got 9 activations. You've got a medic that moves consistently with you, and that's armor and consistently moving line of sight, blocking, heavy cover. Basically, you've got 3 Mandalorians. I know one's naked, but at least you've got some really good ones here. You've got 3 Pike foot soldiers, and then yeah, you've got a lot you can do with Maul. So if we were to take a look again, if you were to take a look at him, you're going to use Duel of the Fates when he's engaged. So I would definitely take this. Witch Magic, maybe something happens where you have to use this first, and it's just giving Maul, again, an order token. So you don't need that right now. And then you could just do the Phantom Menace and give out, and another token another token to maybe Rook unit. which would give her a dodge. And then with retinue, she could give herself an aim. So maybe you have an aim and a dodge already with this. Maul can't be attacked beyond range 2, but he's in a speeder truck just in case he is in there. Or his eminence, Maul is going to gain a dodge, but at least with this one, he's not gaining anything. There's no one gaining anything. But honestly, like I said, aggression would be that one that I would use for a 2-pip, and then his eminence would be the other one that I use for a 2-pip because he's going to gain dodge. And then this whole thing dealing with suppression is going to be ideal for the pikes. So as long as the pikes are following close to the speeder truck, then they're doing all right too. Now, the only problem is that there's no way to heal the speeder truck. So the speeder truck's going to probably die out pretty quick. So you're just going to need to keep the speeder truck behind as much cover as you can, trying to get into the deployment zone or doing what you can to go after someone. It's just kind of like a fun list. Like I said, you got a medic. You got ways with giving out suppression in command cards here, or with the backworld medic and the pikes benefiting from that. So it's great. Let's see, go with that one, and then aggression, and then discretion, and seize what power we can is what I would also go with, giving Maul and 2 units. So with this one, I feel like Maul's going to be needing to be in the middle of a ton of units, and this is going to be going great against the Galactic Republic because of the token sharing going on. But if he can be around a ton of clones and use this, then use it. But I also feel like he's not going to last too much longer anyway. If he's there, it's a 3-pip. He's not going first, but all the tokens spent around him, especially maybe he's in kind of the thick of things, then you can get Maul moving into something, and then all of this kind of takes effect. So I would definitely just go with seize what power we can and discretion. So that's what I would do. If you take the 3-point bid and you don't do anything else, breakthrough wouldn't be that bad because you're going to have Maul inside the speeder truck. That's going to be able to get into safety. And you've got hopefully these 3 Mauldalorians that can stay behind the speeder truck to get in. And then maybe you just use the pike capo with the little pike syndicate foot soldiers to stay behind and guard your deployment zone. That's just one way of doing it. Recover the supplies wouldn't be that bad in a way. And then let's see, bombing run would be great because of how many stuff you have moving, and then payload would also be pretty good. I wouldn't go with hostage exchange or sabotage at the moment. And the reason I would go with recover the supplies is maybe they get the box in the middle, but with the AA5 speeder truck moving and then Maul moving at speed 3 with burst of speed, you're going to be able to probably catch up to that box, and you're probably going to be able to tie them up in melee, or at least get close enough to use burst of speed, force push, pull them into you for your third action to slice and dice. And then you've got the box right there, allowing hopefully the Mauldalorians to catch up and take the box away. So that's why I would go with recover the supplies. And then deployment with bombing run, this will be good. Breakthrough, this would be good, big time. Advanced positions wouldn't be that bad, but I think for bombing run, they're going to have to start in the deployment zone. So major offensive would actually be pretty good. Danger close. Maybe you don't want to start Maul in there and you want to maybe give one of the super commandos in the bus. You could do that. And it's just kind of up to you. You could, like I said, you could do that. If you're a blue player and you have this, then any of the bombing runs and all the other stuff, you payload, boom, 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 boom. You got wherever you can go. It's fine. So, and then maybe the long march. Nah, maybe, but well, disarray. Disarray would actually be pretty good because again, you have the Pike Syndicate Capos and the Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers that can kind of deploy over here, and then you have Maul and his Mandalorians that can deploy over here and boop or boop, depending on what kind of objective that you have. But yeah, I definitely go with disarray. And that is everything. All right, guys. So I'm gonna name this Maul and Rook with the bus. and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that link for you guys. If you have any questions, or if you liked this, or if there's maybe something that you would change, let me know. Basically, like I said, in the last video when I was talking about the Mandalorians, I kind of explained the upgrades that I feel like are bare minimum besides a naked one, because I'd rather fit a naked super commando than another Pike Syndicate foot soldier unit with an upgrade or two, because they're going to move so much faster. They've got so much more flexibility. They got red dice with defense or surging to defense and stuff like that. So yeah, this is how I feel like is good minimum. I mean, having 2 combat shields with the possibility 2 combat shield tokens with your Mauldalorians, and you've got defend 1, or maybe you have the up close and personal. I mean, emergency transponder is pretty good too, but like I said, I think this is the good bare minimum. A super commando combat shield, I feel like, is always a plus. Now, like I said, this isn't a very anti-armor. You're going to have to do something about that. You don't have to worry about it. You're just going to have to make sure you get these done. Don't worry about shooting. Just worry about trying to maneuver your way into getting the objective complete, because that's all that the game is about. All right, guys. Well, leave a comment below what you liked, what you don't like, and or maybe what you would change, add, or anything like that. Any other list ideas that you have? I know someone has mentioned the Luke Skywalker Commander and Sabine. Now, I don't think they go well together. They don't have very good synergy together. It's great. You probably would want to run both of them because they're kind of good. Now, in my opinion, the Commander Luke is a little bit different than Maul, because he's the same as Maul, but the fact that they don't have Master of the Force, but at least Maul has a card that helps him to recover. Luke doesn't. So Cassian, I feel like, is a much better option with the Commander Luke. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will catch you guys in the next video, and may the force be with you. And hopefully when we watch Obi-Wan, or if you haven't seen Obi-Wan, watch it. It's super fantastic. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.